Smash that like button, and subscribe if you can't stand Karens. Drop a comment below with your country or city. Let's see where this chaos is reaching. All right, buckle up, buttercups. This is a story of how my wife, Bernice the Hammer Henderson, went for a jog and accidentally shattered the fragile egos and possibly the dentures of two geriatric hooligans. It all began with a new pair of running shoes and my desperate attempt to burn off the aftermath of a late-night rendezvous with a family-sized bag of Doritos. Typical Tuesday, usually reserved for existential dread and the sudden urge to reorganize my sock drawer. But Bernice, bless her heart, decided we needed exercise, fresh air, vitamin D, and less of you looking like a melted marshmallow, she announced, waving her neon green running shoes like a weapon. Now, Bernice isn't your average suburban housewife. Sure, she bakes a killer apple pie and can name every hydrangea in the garden, but she's also a goddamn Delta Force operative, active duty, mind you, which add a certain spice to your average morning jog. We live in Sunny Meadows Estates, a neighborhood so meticulously planned, so aggressively beige, that even breathing too loud feels like an HOA violation. Imagine Stepford Wives meets a beige paint factory explosion. The residents? Mostly retired orthodontists and people who treat competitive bridge like an extreme sport. Not exactly a den of international espionage. Anyway, Bernice, radiating the kind of fitness that makes gym teachers nervous, took off for her jog. I, on the other hand, assumed my supportive role, trailing behind in a golf cart, white-knuckling a water bottle, and praying I didn't flatten some HOA's award-winning petunias. 10 minutes in, I spotted trouble, a flock of golf carts circling Bernice like vultures. At the center, two figures puffed up like pigeons who just swallowed firecrackers, waving their arms like they were directing traffic in hell. Even from a distance, I knew this was about to go nuclear. As I puttered closer, I caught the highlights of the conversation. Unregistered activity, bellowed one of them, a Mr. Bartholomew Barty Butterfield, who looked like a khaki-clad turtle who'd just seen his own shadow. Disrupting the peace of the community, screeched the other, a Mrs. Gladys Prickleberry, whose voice could curdle milk at 50 paces. Her hair was a bouffant rivaling Saturn's rings, and her skin had the unnatural glow of someone who's personally keeping the tanning bed industry afloat. Bernice, meanwhile, stood there like a statue of absolute chill. She just raised one eyebrow, the same way she does when defusing a bomb or explained to me why we don't microwave metal, and said, deadpan, "I'm jogging." "Jogging?" Barty sputtered, his jowls trembling like a bowl of angry pudding. "In this neighborhood? Without proper authorization? We haven't seen a jogger since, well, never." Gladys chimed in, her voice dripping with suspicion. "And the way you're dressed, those shorts, they're athletic. This is Sunny Meadows, young lady. We prefer khakis and sensible shoes." Now I know Bernice. And beneath that calm exterior lies the patience of Saint, mixed with the simmering rage of a caged wolverine. They were poking the wolverine. And honestly, I was loving the show. Until Barty pulled out the gun. Not a real gun. Mind you, a paintball gun, but in the hands of a 70-year-old man with glaucoma and a habit of screaming at squirrels? That thing might as well have been a WMD. "Stand down," Barty shrieked, waving it around like a pirate with a cutlass. "I am authorized by the Sunny Meadows HOA to maintain order. You are in violation of Bylaw 47B, subsection 9, paragraph 3, which clearly states that excessive cardiovascular activity is prohibited during peak geranium-gazing hours." Gladys nodded so hard her moon-sized hairdo wobbled dangerously. "He's right. Think of the geraniums. They're easily startled." That's when I intervened, parking the golf cart with a screech that probably lowered property values for 3 blocks. "Barty, Gladys, what in the name of sensible landscaping is going on here?" They turned to me, faces twisted in outrage. "Arthur," Gladys screeched, "your wife is jogging, and she's wearing shorts, and she doesn't have proper authorization." I forced a chuckle. Now, folks, let's all just calm down. Bernice is just getting some exercise. She's new to the neighborhood. A lie. We've lived here 5 years. But sometimes a little white lie is all that stands between you and a full-blown HOA uprising. Barty, however, was not to be reasoned with. He aimed the paintball gun at Bernice. "I'm warning you. Cease this unauthorized cardiovascular activity, or I will be forced to use this weapon." And this, my friends, is where things went from absurd to legendary. Bernice, who'd been watching this whole circus with an expression of mild amusement mixed with homicidal tendencies, finally decided she'd had enough. "All right, Barty," she said, her voice dangerously soft. "Let's just put the gun down, okay? Nobody needs to get hurt, especially not the geraniums." Barty, emboldened by my weak attempt at diplomacy, puffed out his chest like a deranged pigeon. "I will not be intimidated by your athleticism. I am the enforcer of Sunny Meadows. I am the shield against chaos. I am—" He never finished that sentence. In a move so fast it was basically black magic, Bernice disarmed him. 1 second, he was waving the paintball gun. The next, it was spinning on the ground, and Barty was gaping like a man who just lost a fight with a vending machine. Then, because Bernice never does things halfway, she disarmed Gladys, who, shockingly, had a taser hidden in her bouffant, executed a flawless judo flip on a rogue sprinkler head, and just for fun, did a handstand on Gladys's golf cart. The silence that followed was broken only by the sound of Gladys's dentures clattering onto the pavement, the frantic chirping of a mockingbird, probably calling HOA backup, and Barty's quiet whimper. Bernice dusted off her shorts and turned to me with a smile so innocent it was terrifying. "Well," she said, "that was a good workout. Ready to go home, honey?" I swallowed hard and nodded, acutely aware that the entire neighborhood now knew. You don't mess with a hammer. The entire neighborhood was probably glued to their beige curtains, struggling to process the absolute spectacle they'd just witnessed. As we drove off in the golf cart, leaving behind a trail of stunned silence and emotionally scarred geraniums, I couldn't help but laugh. My wife, the Delta Force operator, had just dismantled the Sunny Meadows HOA with nothing but martial arts skills and pure, unfiltered badassery. The next day, a new bylaw appeared on the community bulletin board. Subsection 12, paragraph 7. Residents are permitted to engage in reasonable cardiovascular activity, provided they do not exhibit excessive athleticism, do not disrupt the geraniums, and do not cause undue emotional distress to HOA officers. As for Barty and Gladys, they haven't looked at Bernice or anyone in athletic shorts the same way since. Life in Sunny Meadows changed after the great jogging incident of 23. HOA meetings are noticeably less aggressive. There's a newfound respect for personal space. And the geraniums? Thriving, probably out of sheer terror. Bernice, of course, is now a local legend. People whisper about her in the supermarket aisles, voices hushed with a mix of awe and abject fear. Some have even started taking martial arts classes at the community center, though I suspect their motivation is self-preservation, not self-improvement. As for the former HOA enforcers, Gladys is reportedly in intensive therapy for her newfound phobia of shorts. Barty has taken up competitive shuffleboard, a safer outlet for his authoritarian tendencies. And the best part? Bernice now teaches self-defense classes at the community center. Her curriculum includes heavy checkmark disarming overzealous HOA members. Heavy checkmark situational awareness. Is that a taser in your bouffant, Gladys? Heavy checkmark and the importance of a good, supportive sports bra. Attendance is mandatory for all HOA board members. As I sip my coffee, watching Bernice guide a group of septuagenarians through how to flip a sprinkler head like a pro, I can't help but smile. Life with a Delta Force operator in a beige dystopia, never boring. And who knows, maybe Sunny Meadows is finally loosening up